Right, so I think the heat panel or the heat shield that comes straight off. Asbestos to the back, and again there is another little gasket there, so some gaskets on that end. Just got a gasket on the back and a gasket on the front, and then that hopefully should allow me to get to the manifold, and I can now reach down to the exhaust and hopefully I can get to the nuts which release these two vent pipes. So I'll get on with that. Okay, so we are back on the engine removal section. I have disconnected the heater air inlet pipe. Done that already. And we also disconnected the outlet down to the heater valve. Maybe that's the inlet and maybe that's the outlet. I don't know. Anyway, they're disconnected. The thermostat housing. So this is at the front. We've got to disconnect the thermostat housing. Oh, I don't think I've got a header tank. But I'll do that next. The thermostat housing. And then I have got to remove the overflow pipe at the filler neck to the header tank. So I haven't got a header tank. Okay, so we are back on the engine removal section of our handbook. We've removed the inlet and outlet pipes to the heater. Next job is to remove the thermostat housing. So we've got 3 nuts to remove to get the thermostat housing off. So we'll definitely just get on with that one. Right, the bolts are off between the manifold and the exhaust pipe. And now we just have to loosen the bolts on the side of the manifold, which will do quite nicely. Actually, they're already loosened. Oh. There's some quite large washers. That are beveled at the front and flat at the back. So we can loosen those off. But when this engine was redone a few years ago, it all looks rather smart still, whereas it was powder coated. So we'll get those 6 bolts off and lift the manifold off. So hopefully, if I pull this manifold off here, which is come off fine, I can disconnect that in a second. Oh, looks like I've lost her. And then I'm just going to move this there, and if I give this a little bit of a wiggle, right, it's coming off. That exhaust pipe is probably just going to fall off now. Alright. some reason it's stuck. Here it goes. Brilliant, and that should just lower down. That's it, that's fine. Brilliant if it's stuck there, great. So look, yeah, he's obviously had this painted at some stage. Good, isn't it? So the manifold's off now. Hurrah, thank you all. Good, so that's the exhaust pipe disconnected, and the outer, I think that's the outer manifold and the exhaust manifold disconnected. Brilliant. Okay, so I have disconnected the exhaust pipe. Okay, I've disconnected the exhaust pipe, and there's a little bolt just behind it, which I think refers to the steady bracket, which is a little bit of metal across the engine. So I've disconnected that, and the exhaust's dropped down. So the only thing left on this side really, other than the engine mountings, is the speedo cable there. Now I've got a rather nifty gadget here, which I got from a chap at the NEC, and because it's quite tight, but I think if I put this on, it grips. Yeah, it does. It grips and it turns. Oh, that came apart quite well, look. So it does. It grips something you can't turn by hand, and you can undo the speedo cable. That's good. Oh, that just pulls out. Oh, good. There you are. So that's disconnected. So I think now what we can do is move on to the other side of the engine, and the following, well, the next job is to disconnect the wires from the dynamo. So I'll just take some few photos first so I can remember where to reattach them, and then we can do the distributor cap and the leads and the coil, I think, are the next jobs.